Business Book Summaries. Hello, everyone. Today, I want to introduce you to a book titled The One Thing by Gary Keller. He's the chairman of one of the biggest real estate companies globally, called Keller Williams Realty. He's also written several very popular books that have sold millions of copies all around the world. The book we're talking about today has consistently been at the top of Amazon's book sales chart in the United States. Let's begin with my own story and how this book made my life better. Once I soaked in the wisdom from The One Thing by Gary Keller, a big change happened in my life. The book's simple idea, focus on just one thing, became my guide. Mornings turned into special moments where I picked out the most important task for the day. When I worked, I put all my attention into one task and didn't let distractions in. In my relationships, I started being more present, and that made them better. I learned to tackle big goals by taking them one at a time. Even when things got hard, I stuck to the book's ideas. The One Thing wasn't just something I read, it changed how I think. My life used to be like juggling, but now I thrive by focusing on one thing at a time. So, let's come back to the book by looking at the title of the book and understanding what the one thing really means. Normally, we believe that to succeed and achieve great things, we need to put in a lot of effort, learn many things, and do a ton of work. However, the author of this book suggests something different. He says that to truly succeed and achieve extraordinary success, we should learn to let go of many things and focus on doing just one thing, the most important thing. In his view, concentrating on just one thing is enough. The author believes that because this idea is so simple, many people find it hard to believe. Interestingly, even Gary Keller, the author himself, didn't believe in this approach initially. It took him a long time to understand and accept this concept. Now, let's explore the main ideas of the book. In the beginning of his journey as an entrepreneur, Gary Keller spent 10 years building a top-notch company. During this time, things seemed to be going well, and he was very confident that the company could expand globally. However, unexpectedly, the company faced a major crisis. Despite all his hard work and sacrifices, the business was struggling with no signs of improvement. It felt like he was stuck in a difficult situation, and he reached out for help. Fortunately, one of his teachers came to his aid. They went for a walk and discussed the problem. After fully understanding the details, the teacher came up with a solution. He told Gary Keller that he only needed to focus on one thing, finding the right people for 14 key positions in the company. If he could do that, the entire company could start moving in a positive direction. This idea was a turning point in Gary Keller's life. He made a bold decision. He stepped down from his CEO position and concentrated on finding the right people for those 14 key roles. Surprisingly, in less than 3 years, he found these individuals. As a result, the company achieved consistent profits and grew rapidly for 10 consecutive years, transforming from a regional business to a nationwide one. However, a new challenge emerged. While working with these 14 key individuals, Gary Keller noticed that although they were completing most of their tasks, the most crucial work often went unfinished. This was causing problems. So, he started a new approach. He asked them to identify their most important task for the week, the one that would make other tasks easier or less important once completed. This strategy, even though born out of desperation, brought remarkable results. The performance of these 14 key individuals soared. In essence, the one thing teaches us that focusing on the most important task and simplifying our approach can lead to incredible success. It's not about doing many things, but about doing the right thing. After facing 2 tough situations where things went wrong, Gary Keller started thinking about how his actions were connected to the company's success. He noticed something interesting. Every time the company did really well, it was when he focused on doing just one thing. This got him thinking about why some people succeed while others struggle. If we imagine time as the main resource for a person's career, then everyone gets the same resource, 24 hours a day. So why do some people manage to accomplish more, reach higher goals, make more money, and have more stuff? Gary Keller believes the answer lies in how successful people use their time and energy. They center their actions and efforts around their goals. They succeed because they give up things that might be doable but aren't necessary. They focus on what truly matters, whether it's in their work or personal life. To achieve the best results, they narrow down their goals. However, most of us don't follow this approach. We tend to think that to achieve big things, we need to do a lot and face many challenges. So, we cram our schedules with tasks, and success seems to slip away from us. But our time and energy are limited resources. Trying to do everything can leave us tired and unable to manage anything well. If we spread ourselves too thin, we might even become less efficient. The pressure to do it all can make us miss deadlines, neglect our health, and sacrifice time with loved ones. According to Gary Keller, this is not the right path to success. There's actually a shortcut to success, and it's what we talked about earlier, focusing our time and energy on the most important thing. But many of us don't do this because we've been misled by myths about success. These myths make us believe that we have to do everything, that multitasking is efficient, and that sheer willpower can solve all our problems. Now, let's move on to another perspective that conflicts with the idea of the one thing. Every task is important in life. We often find ourselves in a situation where there's too much to do. Some tasks can't be finished in a day and get carried over to the next. Over time, these tasks pile up, creating a sense of busyness. However, being busy doesn't necessarily lead us to success. We sometimes fall into the trap of thinking that every task is crucial and try to complete them all. This is a common mistake. While using tools like to-do lists can help us focus, we often become slaves to the list itself. We feel obligated to finish every single task listed. Successful people, on the other hand, approach tasks differently. They think carefully before deciding and identify the most important task. This main task becomes their focus, and they arrange other tasks around it. They often tackle tasks that others might procrastinate on. They also keep their to-do list concise and effective, focusing on what truly leads to success. As an example, consider Joseph Duran, an expert in code breaking. He attracted the attention of General Electric, which asked him to assess their management compensation plan. He used the theories of an economist named Pareto, who suggested that 20% of the population owns 80% of the wealth. This led Duran to discover a key principle about prioritizing tasks. The 80-20 principle, achieving more with less effort. At first, Joseph Duran explored the uneven distribution of wealth, but he uncovered something bigger. This discovery is now known as the 80-20 principle. It says that a small input often leads to a large output. In simpler terms, a small effort can bring big results. This applies to success too. Sometimes, a little focused effort can give you a lot of returns. Gary Keller, the author, did just that. His major successes came from a few smart moves, like making the right investments. So we can use this principle to change how we make to-do lists. Instead of trying to do everything, we should find the most important tasks in the mix. From those, narrow it down to the one task that really matters. The myth of multitasking. Another misconception is that doing many things at once is super efficient. But a study from Stanford University showed something different. They looked into how people who multitask handle their tasks. Surprisingly, those who claimed to be good at multitasking weren't actually excelling in any one thing. They seemed to be doing well on the surface, but they were missing the essential parts. Multitasking might seem like a skill, but it's not. It's a trap that tricks us into thinking we're being super productive. Many believe that juggling multiple tasks is the key to success, but the truth is, it's just a pretty lie. Handling lots of tasks together isn't efficient or effective in the long run. The myth of multitasking, doing more, achieving less. Have you ever tried to do two things at the same time? Well, it turns out that if you do that, you might end up not doing either thing well. There's a saying that goes, multitasking is messing up several things at once. Sure, there are some activities we can do together, like walking and talking. But when it comes to tasks that need our full attention, like working on something important, it's not possible to do two things at once. Interestingly, many people today like to show off that they can multitask. For example, some work while they listen to music, or they try to make calls while driving. They might even eat while playing on their phones. It seems like we're trying to do more things at once, thinking it'll help us get more done. But sometimes we're actually fooling ourselves. Think about the workplace. Offices can feel like places where everyone has to be a superhero, doing a million things at once. You're focused on your work, and suddenly someone starts coughing, asking for cough medicine. Phones keep ringing, emails keep piling up, and you're juggling tasks like crazy. It's like everyone wants a piece of your time. You're bombarded with distractions and interruptions, making it hard to stay on track. Research even shows that, on average, office workers get interrupted every 11 minutes. They spend about one-third of their day recovering from these distractions. Still, we're expected to finish our tasks on time. But the idea of multitasking is a bit of a trick we play on ourselves. Switching between tasks actually comes at a cost. If a task is easy, it might only take an extra 25% of your time to switch. But if it's something complex, the extra time wasted can be more than 100%. On average, we spend about 28% of our workday just switching between tasks. That's a lot of wasted time without even realizing it. The myth of willpower, the not-so-endless fuel for success. Another myth is about willpower, that inner strength that helps us stay focused and resist temptation. We often link success to having strong willpower. But the reality is, willpower isn't something you can keep using forever. Think of it like the battery on your phone. It might start the day fully charged, but as you use it, it drains. Willpower is similar. It's like a mental muscle that gets tired if you overuse it. Unlike a superhero's power, it doesn't last forever. If we don't take care of it, it can run out when we really need it. Research shows that after using willpower, our blood sugar levels drop, and that makes our willpower fade away. Using willpower is a bit like a workout. It takes time to recover. If we use it too much on one thing and don't give it time to rest, we won't perform well. So, if you want to make the most of your willpower, you need to use it wisely. Use it when it's strong and recharge it with the right kind of brain food, like carbs and proteins. This way, you can tackle your important tasks when your willpower is at its best and get them done before it wears out. Building self-discipline, a habit worth cultivating. Self-discipline isn't something that magically appears overnight. It's not like you can just demand yourself to be disciplined all the time. Instead, it's about creating a habit through consistent practice and enough time. The key to success is in picking the right habit, training yourself to develop it, and making it a part of your life. It might seem tough at first to form a habit, but once you've got it, maintaining it is much easier. The power of habits, a path to success. Now, let's get back to the main theme of this book, the idea that there's one most important thing. But what exactly is this thing? You need to ask yourself a critical question. What's the most important thing I can do? And why will doing this thing make other things easier or even unnecessary? This question can be broken down into three parts. 1. What's the most important thing I can do? This question pushes you into action. It means you have to pick just one thing, a specific thing, not a bunch of things. You might have many options, but you need to make a choice. Without this judgment, you can't move on to the next step. 2. Why will doing this thing make a difference? This part prompts you to set a standard. By doing this one thing, you should see a change. This standard guides you to focus on something specific, leading to a goal. It encourages you to dig deeper and see the chain of events that follow once you've done this one thing. 3. Making other things easier or unnecessary. Archimedes, a famous thinker, once said, "Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I can move the earth." You need to find your own lever, something that will make other tasks smoother or even unnecessary. Once you've done the most important thing, you'll find that other tasks related to your goal become simpler. You might not even need to do some of them anymore. By doing this, you're like someone wearing a blindfold, focusing only on what truly matters. This helps you change the course of your life and concentrate on the essential task without getting distracted. A guiding question for success. This key question guides you through different stages of your life. At different times, you just need to shift your attention and rethink what's crucial. For happiness, immersing yourself in your career can make life more meaningful. When what you do every day aligns with a larger goal, happiness tends to follow. Here's a practical tip from the author, Gary Keller. Try the reverse engineering method. Start with your long-term goals and then work backward step by step. Deduce the most important thing you should be doing right now. This approach can help you find your focus and prioritize effectively. Turning habits into success, a real-life example. To understand the power of habits, take the example of comedian Jerome Allen Seinfeld. When he wanted to become a better comedian, he decided to write a punchline every day. He marked each day he succeeded with a red cross on a calendar. Over time, those red crosses became a chain that he didn't want to break. The lesson here is that success isn't about running a marathon. It's about many little sprints that add up over time. The journey to self-discipline. So, how long does it take for self-discipline to become a habit? Research from the University of London suggests an average of 66 days. It's not as quick as the often heard 21 days to form a habit. So don't give up too soon. Australian researchers also discovered something interesting. Developing good habits had a positive impact on other areas of life. Students reported lower stress levels, better eating habits, reduced impulsive shopping, and even improved dishwashing habits. This suggests that good habits not only become easier to maintain, but also spread positive effects to other parts of our lives. Take the example of Michael Phelps, the swimming champion. Despite being diagnosed with attention deficit disorder as a child, he became incredibly focused through years of training. He practiced every day for hours without interruption. This discipline and habit helped him achieve remarkable success. In summary, the myths about success often mislead us. Remember that it's about focusing on one important thing, forming powerful habits, and making the most of your limited resources. By understanding what truly matters to you and working steadily towards it, you pave the path to success. Thank you for taking the time to watch this summary. I hope you found it valuable and insightful. If you enjoyed this summary and would like to explore more, you can find the link to purchase the book in the description below. If you found this content helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the Business Book Summaries. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.